At the halfway mark in the IORA Cup Series season, one of the shortest circuits on the schedule gets to play host to 200 laps of action. The Last Great Colosseum 200 brings us to the Bristol Motor Speedway for race 8 of a 15-round tour. Tennessee comes through once again, and we've seen multiple seasons worth of great racing here at Bristol, taking it every season since the league's inception. Tonight we have 17 drivers registered and qualifying, a minute and 30 seconds before your qualifying concludes. We'll get back on the move with all of tonight's racing. Right now looking at TJ Hanley, qualified in the 8th position, but once again, the best of the business so far has been Sean Conklin all season long. The winningest driver so far in this campaign, coming off of a weaker race at Chicago, is going to find himself only 2 points ahead of Daniel Mosteller in the championship picture, and right now finds himself on the pole position, so a great chance to recover and gain back some points from a dismal effort in the Grant Park Grand Prix. Less than a minute left right now. Will Shack gets on the way. When Shack sets his qualifying time, it will be a totally complete qualifying session. 16 drivers have taken times going back to Daniel Mosteller. Mosteller 50 seconds off the pace because he took a qualifying lap in reverse. Will Shack is going to make the final genuine attempt and get things going for the first time here and now. Two brand new drivers on the circuit tonight. Jesse Martinez and Brendan Maddox, the 5 and the number 30 respectively, join the field of veteran drivers, as right now it's going to be Shack coming around to line with less than 20 seconds to spare. Going to be very quick laps here at Bristol, about 15 seconds each time around. The best time for any driver is a 14.43, and Will Shack is going to blow it into the inside wall, slowly but surely loses control and limps to turn 1. Will Shack puts down his final qualifying time, and with that in mind, qualifying has concluded, and it will be Sean Conklin, your pole sitter, here in Bristol. As the checkered flag falls here in the Last Great Colosseum, qualifying has concluded, and already we have ourselves a grid set for 200 laps of racing. Comes out to about 100 miles here at the half-mile circuit of Bristol Motor Speedway. James Thurston on the grid, so is Brandon Dugan with a career-high 5th place qualifying effort, and River Page is going to be starting right there in 6th. The championship battle keeps on going. Your two juggernauts are going to be sandwiching the field. Daniel Mosteller starts dead last. Sean Conklin starts all the way up in front. He'll be your first place driver to get things going. Chase Schaefer, your Atlanta winner, your most recent oval victory went to the number 99, and he finds himself on the front row. We're waiting still for just a few seconds until our pole sitter and Sean Conklin joins the field on track. However, without further ado, let's find out who starts where in tonight's event at Bristol. Race 8 of Season 4 of the IORA Cup Series, and once again, the winningest driver all season long puts himself on the pole position. Sean Conklin back on top. The number 54 machine puts it into first, and Chase Schaefer right beside him, the number 99, going to be starting second after an especially strong time going out at Chicago and making through with the podium finish. Schaefer going to be starting second, and third place going to be held by James Thurston, the number 4 machine of Thurston, after a strong race last night in Talladega, does the Wednesday-Thursday double and completes it here at Bristol. It's going to be Jesse Martinez on debut, starting in 4th, number 5 machine making his first career start in the IORA Cup Series and coming through with a very strong qualifying run to go right with it. Then from there, Brandon Dugan's going to round out the top 5 in his number 55 machine. Dugan's going to put himself inside the top 5 just ahead of River Page, as the number 24 machine is set to start 6th in the Miata Gang Designs Ford Mustang. From there on out, Oliver Quinney's going to be starting in 7th with the number 73 machine. Right behind him, it's going to be TJ Hanley with TJ08 starting right there outside of row number 4. Then from there, it's going to be John Smith starting in the 9th position, and Braxton Whitaker rounding out the top 10. Number 51 machine concludes our top 10 drivers as they're starting the outside of row 5. Chase Schaefer going to opt to take an end-of-line penalty. Same goes for Gabriel Goli, and Sean Conklin opts to start from the pit, so a few drivers changing positions and switching hands already. Keep that in mind. Henry Kaloff is going to be starting in the 11th spot, and he'll be there in 11th, indeed, right ahead of Vincent Guecci. Vinny's going to be starting in the 09, 12th place, and to round out the baker's dozen, it's going to be Gabriel Goli in the 05, going to the end of the line with an intentional penalty. Brendan Maddox also on debut will be starting in 14th, and his number 30 lines up outside of row number 7 with Alexander Balderas 15th in the number 95. Will Shack is going to be 16th, the final driver to make a genuine attempt in qualifying, and for the 9th and final row of qualified times, Daniel Mosteller, 50 seconds slower than the field, goes around the track in reverse during qualifying. He'll be starting 17th and last, excluding penalties for tonight's race here in Bristol. That is your starting grid for the Last Great Colosseum 200, and 1 lap of pacing remains. Sean Conklin, your pole sitter, opts to start on pit road as you saw him fade to the back of the field. Chase Schaefer, more of the same. Dugan, Schaefer, Jesse Martinez. It looks like Gabe Ringolian, John Smith too. That is your lineup of drivers that took it down either to the pit road or took it to the end of the field with the purposeful penalty. Now that means James Thurston gets the shot to lead him down to the start-finish line. It's Thurston and River Page, your front row in Bristol, as the green flag drops for the first time. 200 laps of racing. Let's get things going here from Tennessee. And at the line, a very quick and easy first lap for James Thurston. Everyone gets away with no trouble. Sean Conklin, as a result of his decision to go to pit road intentionally, he'll be starting 17th and last, 1 lap down. So your pole sitter already could find himself at the back of the field, and it looks like John Smith is going to be 1 lap down as well. Both drivers opting to miss out on the start, and taking that penalty is going to lose them a lot of time right now. Their end goal is to get back up there in the lead lap, with cautions coming into play later in the night. But 200 laps will come and go at Bristol very, very quickly, especially with a guy like James Thurston in command. Thurston is a quick driver and will attack you for lead and run away from there. James Thurston's got the lead and already has a gap. 6 laps in, River Page goes way high and has himself now with pressure from Oliver Quinney. Oliver runs third, the best he's run all season long, with Henry Cowloff fourth and Alexander Balderas there in fifth. The McDonald's number 95 finds himself on the high side, but drops it down to the bottom through the corners, gets the middle group that time by in particular, while other drivers already find themselves battling with multiple lanes. Vincent Guecci going to go way down low, tries to get it there in Daniel Mosteller, and does so successfully. Braxton Whitaker also making time as Brandon Dugan and Chase Schaefer fight all the same. 8 laps in already, it's been a mad dash to get things going, and at the line, James Thurston will lead them all once again. For those watching live on FTN, the official graphic design partner of the channel, Tango Paints providing lap 9 and every lap to you live on FTN. For iRacing paint schemes and liveries, check out Tango Paints on Twitter for more information. Tolon and the entire Tango Paints team have been creating iRacing's finest graphic designs since 2021. Once again, it's going to be Tango Paints, the official graphic design partner of Fireball Talks NASCAR Live, and we'll bring it back after a brief promotional break, courtesy of our friends at Tango Paints. Come back this time by after our lap 9 Tango Paints promotion of the day. It's now 13 laps through, and James Thurston showing that time flies here in Bristol and the Last Great Colosseum. Going to be the theme of tonight's broadcast here on FTN. Got a great crowd already with multiple likes on the stream. Tell you what, I think we just hit 6 likes already. So if you want to add more to that count, we'd love to have you join with some support. A like on the stream, subscription to the channel means the world to this group here at FTN, because tonight we're not going to Bristol once, we're going to Bristol twice. I'm going to be going there twice over with the Highliner Racing League also competing at the Last Great Colosseum in the Classic Coliseum 200. Same distance, different car. They'll be racing with the Gen 4s as opposed to the Next Gens, so a throwback race to immediately follow the first race of the night, a bit more of a modern taste of stock car racing right now. Then we go back to the Classics and those Gen 4s, high horsepower, high speeds, but last time the Highliner Racing League took it to a short track in Martinsville, things got dicey. So hopefully we don't see more of the same tonight and we see a bit more clean racing, but that's not always a guarantee. So as you come through this time by, it's going to be now 17 through for James Thurston, commanding so far, but River Page making up some time as well. Ride on board with River Page and see what's going on. Bringing up telemetry right now on our second place driver. It's going to be Jesse Martinez with a bit of trouble in the back of the field. Caution will fly for Jesse Martinez. Yellow flag is out. Martinez is going to drop it down to the apron, still going up and down the track, and the rookie tonight brings out the first caution and goes way down low. Jesse Martinez, caution is out. And it looks like he already disconnected, so the caution's going to fly for a driver no longer in the race. Let's check it out once more with an instant replay and find out what just happened. Jesse Martinez going to bring out the caution here, and you look at it right now, no telemetry really recording much of anything. Before that occurred, he was up there fighting with Sean Conklin. Conklin goes way low, and Jesse's going to beat and bang with Sean. That's going to send Conklin all the way down to the bottom of the track. Martinez gets away better. Sean Conklin, once again, not so much. And that risk of going down a pit road to start the night really not paying off right now, because he's going to be not only one lap down, but now has damage, which means he's going to most likely fall at least 2 down during the caution cycle. Risky call for Sean Conklin, and we understand his intention, but it looks like it might have been best for him to be a bit more risky on the jump to get a bit more of an advantage later in the race. Just like that, pit road going to get busy once again. Alexander Balderas went down there for a 1.7 second stop. Vincent Guecci now going to be on the move with Daniel Mosteller, also right there with Brandon Dugan finds himself going through at the same time. Will Shack is going to be in 14th spot, and John Smith 15th. That's the way they roll. So far, so good. Jesse Martinez going to be disconnecting after his first wreck, and just like that, the rookie leaves the race after causing the first caution. Sean Conklin 2 laps down. Those got the damage, and he's got the scars to prove it on that number 54 Ryko Performance Ford Mustang. So currently going to be 16th as Sean drops it way down low once again. 21 laps in of 200, and substantial issues already coming into play for our reigning points leader. He's right up there with Daniel Mosteller, and we mentioned Demos not having a strong qualifying run intentionally. Now, Daniel Mosteller, for those viewers who are coming in for the first time, has had a bit of a trend. Almost every week, he decides to go on a pit road and get through just right, then put in reverse, get back on the way, and fight through the field after qualifying with a lap going backwards. And it's worked out. I mean, one time he did it at Auto Club, he was able to win, and he already has that race-winning experience despite his shortcomings in qualifying, which have been, for the most part, self-inflicted. So don't doubt Demos. He finds himself 12th right now, but that could still change as the night has only just begun, with James Thurston leading all of 22 laps to this point. Drivers are going to come by next time around and get set for a double file restart. The Power Smash Infinity Speed Motorsport number 4 crew back on FTN after a very successful night last time around in Talladega. Now, for those who watched last night, it was James Thurston who finished second. However, due to a points disqualification, that result did not stand after the night was over. So a troublesome night for James Thurston, and most of the trouble came after the race technically concluded, but still, Thurston finds himself now looking for the chance to win without any fear of being disqualified. He's found the place and finds himself in the right position. And so far, 23 laps in at a 200, James Thurston going to be going for gold as they come around this time by for restart number 1 on the day. It's going to be Thurston, River Page, Oliver Quinney, TJ Hanley. That is your top 4 with Alexander Balderas, the 5th man right behind. As the drivers come through this time by side, with James Thurston having the advantage, the green flag will fall with a Power Smash Infinity Speed Motorsports machine on the way. And nice jump there for River Page. You'll see already on the high side, Page takes the lead, and River finds himself in first. Just like that, number 24, top of the board, and the Miata Gang Designs number 24 now in fierce battle for that top spot. Thurston was quick last run, but it looked like River had enough to gain back on him. Battle for third, collects Hanley, gets Schaefer spinning, yellow flag flies. Now the third place battle gets risky, beating and banging about 5 wide under caution. Yellow flag is out, and Kaloff comes spinning down low. And it looks like it all began with Alexander Balderas and TJ Hanley fighting there for the final spot on the podium. Yellow flag is out yet again. Let's take an instant replay, find out just what caused it, as the FTN instant replay will show you the battle third. What's really kicking this off? No room for anyone. Quinny drops way down low, gets away from Balderas, and it looks like the number 95 has that spot for at least a brief moment. But then you're going to see the number 95 drop in deeper to the corner. TJ Hanley stays high. They both slightly move into each other, and that's going to let Balderas deck the 08 machine, take a lot of the field right there with them. Gabriel Goli going to just barely make it through. Henry Kaloff comes sliding back down, taps Mosteller. Schaefer gets contact too. It's a web of drivers getting involved, huge chain reaction, and the yellow flag is out once again. 28 laps in, out of 200. River Page leads them. It's James Thurston second, Alexander Balderas then in third. That's their podium so far. Bristol, so far, so good, and that's what it is as they come down to pit road this time by. Will Shack gonna opt to stay out, but a few drivers in the back of the field go. You'll see Demos goes in, Chase Schaefer, Brendan Maddox. Sean Conklin is actually now on the lead lap, so he's gonna get his chance to get back with the leaders immediately, while TJ Hanley and Henry Kaloff round out the bunch down below the racing circuit. Jesse Martinez, only driver out of the race so far, disconnecting manually, so that's gonna be a retirement by choice for Jesse Martinez. The IORA Cup Series gives out one faster pair to every driver. So far, already 2 drivers have used it, and one of which is going to be the driver of the number 54 and Sean Conklin, the other of which looks to be Brandon Dugan. The rest of the field so far staying natural and staying with their original car on the day. Only one chance to immediately reset yourself and get all damage clear on iRacing. That is called the fast repair, and drivers have the option here in the IORA Cup Series to use it whenever they feel their car just can't go any further with the current damage it has. It resets them, gives them another chance to get back out in front, and so far, it's been a system that's worked out quite well. Only one extra chance, so you really don't want to end up using it. If the fast repair is gone, then you got to really race on edge, knowing any slight contact can lead to a big chain reaction, and losing that control can really set you off balance. Hunter Bogdan, BRTV, James Thurston, all in chat tonight. Thank you all for stopping by. Great to have you all watching here at Bristol as the FTN doubleheader at the Last Great Colosseum has only just begun. 400 laps at Bristol all night long from 7:45 Eastern, where we really got this one going. Just a minute ago, we see our second yellow, so we really started about 7:30 all the way to about 11 Eastern. We'll be rocking the house in Tennessee no matter how much we've got. We got a lot more to show you. Laps here at Bristol, they're quick, but always action-packed. It's going to be Page, Thurston, Balderas, Oliver Quinney, and Vincent Guecci, your top 5 this time by as they come around yet again. Organized, Page goes down low, and it's going to be high-low for the entirety of the field for what will be restart number 2. And with the iRacing official pace car letting them go this time by, River Page has control for the first time at any start of this race. James Thurston, while not the pole sitter, got to lead the field down to the green and led him last time by before our most recent caution. Already pit cycles on the way. Keep that in mind as well. We are expecting use of at least 2 other tire sets as drivers have a fuel limit of 60% to go right with it. Green flag flies yet again, led by River Page, with Thurston now in second and Balderas rounding out the podium. Page gonna see the checkered flag and not any longer. A slight way. It's a caution, and it's gonna put him to a halt, but it's not the race end. It's another issue with Will Shack, TJ Hanley, Brandon Dugan, and Braxton Whitaker all together, and while the race is gonna be at a standstill, it's not for any reason. About lap 200, 34 laps in, third caution. So just like that, yellow flag flies once more, and we're gonna see another incident involving Braxton Whitaker in the back of the field. It ends up, but it's actually gonna start up here in the front. Whitaker going to get pressured by John Smith. Smith gets on the bumper there. Whitaker drops down low, tags Braxton, sends him way high. He nearly naturally saves it, and that he does, only to hit Will Shack. Come back up. That was a fantastic save too, but Braxton Whitaker, unfortunately, just not able to hold on to it. So close. just can't make it stick, and Will Shack not going to be happy about that one, but I feel that Whitaker gave it his best effort, just could not find the room, as John Smith going to send him deep, and he's going to find contact immediately thereafter. 35 laps in of 200, TJ Hanley signaling he'll go down a pit road, and it looks like multiple of the drivers opt to do so yet again. Now, right now, with so many cautions, if you're in the back of the field, there is no reason not to go down a pit road for fuel. However, tires are going to become a bit more of a question mark as the race goes on. If we have more yellow flags at this rate, which we were not necessarily expecting, we might see some drivers opt to run the strategy a bit different. Some guys maybe save up their tires and wait for later. Maybe some drivers are going to start using them now to make up track position to get away from the wrecks. And all the questions of strategy continue. This time, the dilemma is going to keep on going as TJ Hanley brings the rest down to pit road, and River Page opts to go down to the bottom side of the track as the race leader. It's Page, Thurston, Balderas with Oliver Quinney fourth, and Vincent Guecci fifth. John Smith finds himself just behind Vinny as he'll drop it down to the bottom, this time through to get organized. Once again, River Page, still your leading man, and the Last Great Colosseum seeing 36 laps of racing to this point. Keeping watch on our faster pairs, look at a few other drivers that have taken them in the most recent laps. As it stands, the following drivers have opted to take that faster pair. We already mentioned Sean Conklin and Brandon Dugan, but in addition now, Will Shack has taken one, and it looks like from there on out, Sean Conklin, Dugan, Shack are now the three up there in front of the field or back. Wherever they go, they do know that that faster pair is gone, and that opportunity to keep yourself safe now not going to be an opportunity, it's a necessity. River Page is still there in the back bumper of our pace car as Daniel Mosteller finds himself in the single digits. Keep an eye out for our championship contenders tonight. Mosteller finds himself in 9th, and it looks like it's going to be Sean Conklin, only 2 spots back there in 11th. Number 54, Ryko Performance Machine, fighting with the Demos Hub, number 87. These two drivers have been the class of the field so far, and while Conklin has been a winning machine, save for one night for Daniel Mosteller, he's had that consistency, a leg up on his rival in Conklin. That's really kept him in the championship fight despite not many wins in comparison. Demos is not done yet, and a strong race tonight will keep him in the mix after a disaster for Conklin at Chicago. Coming through this time by 38 laps in at a 200, move on to 39, and Page will keep him moving up in front. Double file, the pace car's lights are off, and the green flag is set to drop for the 3rd restart of the day. Bunched up once again, a few short yellow flags in succession. Now, time to get the green flag rhythm back in the picture. Let's get going once again as the iRacing official pace car drops right in. Green flags on the way, led by Page and Thurston. Once again, Balderas right behind him. Trouble in the back already. Oliver Quinney sees the yellow flag fly, and Schaefer's around, spinning in the back as slight issue becomes another pileup, and the yellow flag is out once again. Will Shack gonna see it, Chase Schaefer as well, but it began instead with Oliver Quinney as we take an instant replay once again. Number 73 machine right there. Let's take it back and watch the entirety of this run as another quick spin comes back to bite the entirety of the field. Looking at this one with the number 73 right up top, Oliver Quinney on the high side with a beat and bang. Not with the wall that time through, but as they go out of 3 and 4, that's when things get dicey. And Quinney going to drop down. Chase Schaefer going to tag him. Demos gets a piece of it as well. Drivers slowing down all throughout. Henry Kaloff barely coming to a stop, while Schaefer's going to go around sliding, and TJ Hanley right there in the mix as well. Hanley gets out with some front end damage. Maddox is going to get through, the rookie in the number 30, but some experienced guys like Brandon Dugan, Chase Schaefer, and Will Shack not seeing the end of it without trouble. 42 laps in at a 200, back on the way, and we got ourselves a yellow flag. Once again, pit road can get busy. You're going to see this time by Henry Kaloff opts to go down and in. Blue cars definitely slaying in the chat room, and it looks like right now, all good with no damage, so ready to slay the day. That's Henry Kaloff making it down to the Food City pit road here in Bristol. In addition, Brandon Dugan, Will Shack, Brendan Maddox, all right there outside the top 10 as TJ Hanley now finds himself the final man in the single digits. River Page leads, James Thurston second, Alexander Balderas then in third. That's how they roll. 43 laps in out of 200 and ready to go back at it once again. So far, 4 cautions on the day, a few of them back to back to back. And after a good early run, now moving on to a few cautions in a row. But we are seeing faster pairs run out, and as it stands, even more drivers opting to take them. That time by, Will Shack is the highest position driver to have himself with the faster pair, but that's changed. Sean Conklin moves up to 5th. More and more drivers opting to take that faster pair, as it looks like it's going to become a necessity. John Smith took it that time by, and now going to join the club with Dugan right in front of him, and Brendan Maddox, number 30, taking it his first faster pair in his league history. This time by, caution is still out, and River Page is set to lead him through, as the anticipation for all the field is to get back into a much better run of green flag laps. Yellow flags in succession a few times over, and in all honesty, a very fair track condition night. 77 degrees Fahrenheit in the air, 80 degrees on the track, so the variation minimal. These guys have the best track condition to work with. That's almost entirely possible. It really can't get to much more fair than that. So what they've got right now, they must use well, as Page set to lead them this time by. The pace car drops in, and River will keep them rolling. River Page gets the green flag going once again, leading the way for the 4th restart of the night. Right back there, you're going to see the field's going to spread out but not have immediate contact. Gabriel Goli goes 3 wide, not to mention Oliver Quinney and Chase Schaefer in the number 99. The Chase Schaefer machine, after some contact in the most recent yellow, already pushing buttons and pushing bumpers as he drops down to the bottom side looking for a pass on Gabriel Goli and Oliver Quinney. Rookies who made their debut just a few weeks ago respectively now find themselves in the competition with veterans, and even if they're newer drivers, they're raced the exact same way anyone else will be in the IORA Cup Series. Schaefer gets down to the bottom side, barely makes some room, and gets things going once again. 48 laps in, Schaefer's sitting pretty right now, but he knows there's still room for improvement. Let's ride on board with this number 99 machine rolling 6th as it stands. Right now, Chase Schaefer coming up on the battle, not only with Vincent Guecci, but Alexander Balderas too. Take a look outside of the cockpit to find a bit more about how this battle will proceed. Chase Schaefer making time, now going to be side by side with Guecci. Contact with Balderas that time through, but Vinny's going to keep things straight, and so does number 95 right ahead. Balderas drops down to the bottom. You can see that high side momentum enough to get already dead even as the 95 opts to beat and bang right there down low. Not much more he can do, and Schaefer makes it clean air once again. Up in front now, chasing down James Thurston. Second groove works to his advantage, and just like that, the caution flies once more. Yellow flag is out, no reason. Back of the field, Oliver Quinney, and looks like as well going to be Will Shack. Caution's out, Oliver Quinney involved, and just like that, under pacing yet again. It looks like you'll see Alexander Balderas making contact with Vincent Guecci, and Quinney's already going back down to their bottom side on Vinny, and just like that, Guecci gets run up the track, tries to make something happen, but Quinney just can't make it through there, and John Smith, who's already seen an incident before, right behind the number 73, and as the number 73 machine comes up, wiggles, goes up the track, and hits John Smith, takes Dugan out, and also takes Will Shack with some contact there for Brendan Maddox and Gabriel Goli. All these drivers coming together at the same time, and in all honesty, that one could have been avoided, as it looks like the number 35 machine gets a piece of it, but Oliver Quinney, who made that contact, let off the brakes, thought he was clear, but caught a piece of John Smith, and that's what really set that caution back into motion. Could have been much, much better, but as they come through this time by, pit road going to get busy with Sean Conklin opting to stay out. 24 laps into his run, he's going to let the rest of the leaders go in, and just like that, a majority of your field comes in this time by. Pit road strategy been very tricky to make calls about all night long because of how many yellow flags we've already seen, not to mention guys like Conklin opting to start on pit road, guys who opted to start one lap down, taking it to the end of the line, so there's a lot of differences in strategy already. already and convoluting an already somewhat complex situation here when it comes to our fuel and tire margins. Now tonight in Bristol, 60% fuel capacity with a tire set limit of 4 sets tonight. So the fuel load is going to be the biggest concern, because no way any driver can go around all throughout tonight without going down at least twice, if not 3 times. And given the fact we've already seen several cautions, we might see a few more of those instances where drivers opt to get themselves set up on pit road as opposed to any place else. 55 laps in at a 200, waiting for that long green flag run to come into play. Looks right now there's just nothing else to say on the field in regards to a few pit stops and not much else. Drivers get back up front. Balderas, Thurston, Page, they're all going to be back up in front of the drivers who went down to pit road. Mosteller leads the way of those who just got out. Right now, 5th place for Daniel Mosteller. John Smith is in 4th. Vincent Guecci is 3rd. Chase Schaefer is 2nd. And Sean Conklin is your leading driver, as the top 3 on the head of your screen will still remain the same. Sean Conklin's got it once again up ahead from the back of the field all the way up to the front. Slowly rolling here this time by as we get set to go back to green at what should be lap 58. Come through this time by, Sean Conklin going to see the yellow flag. Caution is still out. It looks like drivers going down low. 1 lap to green this time around to get back going once again. It's going to be Conklin, Schaefer, Vincent Guecci then in 3rd. That is your top 3 right now, as John Smith can have to run up in front at the same time. The Burnt Rubber Racing Warehouse number 48 promoted up into the top 5 here, with Daniel Mosteller pushing him right there on his back bumper. Live on FTN, we'll get things going once again for what will be restart number 5 on the day. Schaefer and Conklin not having much experience so far tonight up in front, but they've already gotten wins between themselves in this series. Experience and victories. They've got them both, and now they'll lead the field as it's Sean Conklin and Chase Schaefer getting us back to green here in Bristol. As the drivers get back rolling this time by, River Page already beginning to make some moves for spots. Page drops way down low, finds himself now in a much better spot to take away from the rest of the field. As River drops to down the bottom, he's got Vincent Guecci right up top, and now tries to make that move as James Thurston's going to try to fight up here with the front runners. Not to mention, you got Daniel Mosteller and John Smith jousting for the 3rd position. Right now, John Smith has it. Daniel Mosteller wants it as Chase Schaefer goes side by side up top for the race lead. Schaefer's going to be on the high side, Sean Conklin way down low, and they'll stay side by side 61 laps in, beating and banging a bit more all the way on the top. This gives an opportunity for John Smith to look low, doesn't do much of it, blocks Daniel Mosteller. Now 4 drivers gun for the lead, as now John Smith sees that opening to the bottom, once again gets shut down immediately. It's back and forth, up and down, trying to find the opportunity to make something happen, and Mosteller that time through gets close, but just doesn't have enough. Now Daniel Mosteller finds himself ahead of championship rival Sean Conklin, looks for the race lead as well, and as Demos goes high yet again, it's that number 87 consistently trying to make those moves, just can't find the breathing room to truly execute on his ideas. It's still Schaefer 64 laps in. Further on back, it's going to be Alexander Valderas getting loose but keeping it straight. Nice job there for the number 95 to, instead of causing a caution, get things going, regroup, keep this race calmer and cleaner. That's a big difference in racing discipline, and right now, digging deep throughout the field, every driver's trying to make up spots, every driver wants to make up time, but it really takes a lot to keep things going consistently while also making mistakes, because some drivers will let that caution come back to them. Here in IORA, cautions are called for any multi-car incident or any one-car incident at a certain point up in the front of the field. A top 5 spin is almost a guaranteed yellow flag, and Balderas, who's running there amidst guys like River Page and Daniel Mosteller, he had a fair chance to get that caution, decides not to, and using a discipline to keep things going, helps out the rest of the leaders now as the battle gets even closer up in front. Chase Schaefer sees Conklin's going to stick it way down low once again. Bottom side for Sean, top side going to be for John, and Smith now pushes Schaefer up into the front once again. Take a look on board with James Thurston now as he gets in the middle of it, and now sees the number 4 right behind everyone else in this top battle. Sean Conklin going to be side by side there with James Thurston, now going to be fighting to get inside the podium. John Smith right there, River Page and Chase Schaefer all going to be side by side for a brief moment. 69 laps in of 200, a nice lead for Schaefer going on to lap 70. But right now, as the rest of the field fades a bit further away, battling for their own causes, there's John Smith running way up high. Conklin gets some substantial momentum boost. That's going to take him into the corner much deeper than Thurston. Thurston goes at a speed at low at 111 miles an hour, gets back up to about 140. Very little variation, a lot of flat footing here at Bristol. You got to keep those speeds as high as absolutely possible. 72 laps in at a 200. The Ryko number 54 knows for certain he ain't done yet. And looks like now getting the better of Thurston as they come through lap after lap. Slightly more time being made. Trying to look at Conklin's telemetry will not work tonight because he started on pit road. Therefore, we are not getting the proper read on what happened in the start of his race. So unfortunately, we cannot check telemetry on Conklin, who's right now in fourth. John Smith is going to be third. River Page is second. And Chase Schaefer's there in first. 74 laps in. And Schaefer looking for what would be his second win of the season. The driver of the number 99 winning in Atlanta by just a several thousandth of a second marker. And he came home with a photo finish second last season to Mason Moriarty by only 2 1,000ths. Tonight, he knows he's already a winner this season, does not have to worry about putting anything in the win column. Now has to look into the future and gain that much more. It's Page getting even closer that time by as Schaefer makes another slight mistake, maneuvers up to the high side of the track to block River once again. They're still going back and forth, and River drops way low, lunges deep, and just like that, it's Page back in front. And the leaders keep on going here. Now River's got that advantage. Chase Schaefer opts to go to the high side. He's not finished fighting as well as they come through this time by. River Page is going to be on the bottom groove once again. It's going to be Schaefer switching places. He goes top, and if they keep on fighting each other, just cannot find the proper groove. It's going to be Chase Schaefer gaining and River Page substantially losing that time by as the battle for third continues here. Thurston has it. John Smith and Sean Conklin are right there as well. And it's going to be Conklin still dead even, nose to nose, side to side with that number 48, John Smith, right up top. 80 laps in out of 200 this time by. It's going to be the number 54 in the bottom, number 48 right up top. And Daniel Mosteller still running his own race, finds himself in sixth, while the championship rival is only one position ahead. And for both Daniel Mosteller and Sean Conklin all night long, they have not had the best of runs in terms of leading laps, winning this race, not being the most likely drivers to do so. While Conklin has led some laps, and Daniel Mosteller has run largely up in the front, just not showing that dominant power throughout the early stages of the night. Thurston, Page, Schaefer look to be the best guys on this race in specific, so they should be the guys to keep on going until all is said and done. You'll see right there, John Smith going to be the top side once again, barreling up high, while the Ryko number 54 opts to go up there as well. Right now, they're separating themselves a bit more, and John Smith making one of his very few part-time starts all season long, back on the hunt, and he's so far been running very well. Top 5 nights so far for Smith, with Daniel Mosteller 6th and Gabriel Goli then in 7th. Henry Kaloff now going to work down to the bottom. That number 8 spot going to be held by Kaloff right now. He'd love to get around Goli, though, and get a few more spots out of it, as Vince Iguechi also right there, too. Alexander Valderas rounds out the top 10 with trouble now. He's going to be passed by Will Shack. Will's going to be quicker, now bringing home Oliver Quinney, and even it looks like now Brandon Dugan, as Dugan gets very close, does not make any further contact, but gives a nudge and nearly lets him know that he's got to get a bit quicker. If anything, right now, they're all going to get much closer as Balderas is in the wall. Alexander Balderas makes contact. Brandon Dugan gets by. So does Braxton Whitaker, and as Balderas rides the wall up top, he opts to stay in it for half a lap. Comes back down to pit road. Balderas, significant issues, and he's going to have to limp it down to the bottom of the track and spins on the way in, saves it, and collects it once again. Alexander Balderas sees a night potentially going to ruin, beats and bangs it down to pit road, and just like that, number 95 might have just called it a night then and there. 87 laps in out of 200. James Thurston leads the way. River Page in second. Chase Schaefer then in third, with Sean Conklin position number 4. John Smith rounds out the top 5, and Daniel Mosteller's then in 6th. 88 laps in, you'll see right now mostly green flag running, mostly going to be clean as a matter of fact. And Whitaker, one of the many guys getting in the rhythm right now, as TH Designs number 51 sees his sponsor teammate right behind. That's going to be Brandon Dugan, who is not on the lead lap. As a matter of fact, Dugan is 9 laps down right now and running with the leaders as a form of getting himself in the pack and acclimating himself to the rest of this race. If he gets an opportunity to get back up there, why not have that experience and set yourself up for the remainder of the night? 9 laps down is not necessarily a death sentence. It's not good by any means, but it is something you can recover from if all goes well. Caution's going to fly for Braxton Whitaker and River Page that time by, and that's a lap machine getting involved. Whitaker going to get torn up a bit more, and the caution flies. 91 laps in out of 100. Instant replay will show you just why, as we have ourselves a caution after our longest green flag run of the day. And you'll see right there, number 51 machine of Braxton Whitaker having some trouble with leaders coming by. There's River Page. Page is going to be given back his 3rd place spot as a result of this incident. He goes around spinning, but as the cause of being Braxton Whitaker as opposed to River Page, he'll keep that spot instead of losing it. You'll see Whitaker up top gets loose, tags River Page, and luckily Page makes no contact with any wall, only going to be driver-to-driver contact, and River nicely saves it and get things going. It looks like Sean Conklin actually catches some trouble as well, which means despite the fact River Page went around, he naturally will not lose any other spot and stay in 3rd no matter what happened. Nice job there for River Page as he stays in the podium, but many drivers come down to pit road this time by. The biggest synchronized stop of the day comes here and now, 93 laps in out of 200. And as pit road gets busy this time by, you're going to see Thurston, Schaefer, Page, and Sean Conklin all coming through together, and it's going to be a big run down to pit road to figure out who's got what as they make it in this time by. James Thurston leads them through both sets of pit road stalls, and now time to find out who's got what it takes as the drivers lean into pit road. You'll see Balderas is now 9 laps down in his own, and Brandon Dugan getting time back is now only 6 laps behind, making more and more time back up. The field's going to be down on pit road, giving him even more of an opportunity to recover laps and recover time as Conklin's down there in the bottom of the track. Chase Schaefer right there as well. James Thurston going to be in the podium, and he's going to try to get the jump. Photo finish, advantage Chase Schaefer. Schaefer wins off pit road with Thurston 2nd, Conklin 3rd, and River Page in 4th. John Smith rounds out the top 5 off of pit road with Daniel Mosteller then 6th, and Henry Kaloff position number 7. It's going to be Oliver Quinney 8th, TJ Hanley 9th, and it looks like from there on out you're going to see Gabriel Goldie rounds out in the top 10. Just like that, pit road gets active, and it's time to set up for another restart, this time by 2 laps to green at advantage Chase Schaefer. Just like that, number 99 machine back up in front. It's going to be that number 99 of Chase Schaefer, then James Thurston in 2nd, Sean Conklin going to be there in 3rd, and River Page is in position number 4. John Smith rounds out in the top 5. Daniel Mosteller going to be 6th, Henry Kaloff 7th, and Oliver Quinney in 8th, with Wetchy Goldie there and Brandon Maddox. The rookie still holding up better. Jesse Martinez having early trouble. The only retiree so far. Alexander Balderas remains on pit road, taking it down voluntarily, and it looks like no movement so far from that number 95, staying down there on pit road after some early trouble. Will Shack going to be 8 laps down. Brandon Dugan going to be 14 now place, but 3 laps down, with Braxton Whitaker now going 3 down in his own right. TJ Hanley gets back up there 1 down as they get double file once again, set to go back green. 97 laps in out of 200 and nearly halfway through. So far, so good. Some troubles, but overall we've gotten through the majority of them, and now going on to our second half of action here in Bristol. It's going to be a fantastic second run with Schaefer, Thurston, and John Smith leading us through. This time by, the pace car drops in and we're set to get back rolling once again. Green flag flies, led by Chase Schaefer and James Thurston right on his back bumper. Chase Schaefer going to lead him by the first lap of this restart. James Thurston still in the back bumper here, but for all intents and purposes, that number 99 machine gets away the best of anyone and keeps the advantage rolling through. Lap after lap, now one away from hitting the triple digits. Vincent Guecci going to be fighting fiercely with Daniel Mosteller. Demo's going to be down low. River Page right up top there, and just like that, the 24 machine mimicking John Smith, and those two drivers carrying away as Mosteller can't find anything on the bottom to work with. 100 laps in this time by, and James Thurston still going to be fighting for the bottom group to try to take the lead away at the halfway marker at the stripe. Schaefer's got the edge and leads them now. 100 laps to go. Chase Schaefer's got the advantage over James Thurston in second, and now Sean Conklin in third. Smith going to be fourth. River Page is going to be fighting side by side still for fifth, and Demos goes wild and keeps it straight. Goes down to the apron, gets back going. Eighth place for Daniel Mosteller. Gabriel Goli with some trouble, and Gabriel going to spin it alone, go back 360 and get in the roll once again, and rolls back on the track and keeps it going. But Gabriel Goli's got no reason to stay out here. Oh my goodness, he goes around once again. Trouble once more, and Goli's night goes from bad to worse. Once again, a single car spin, and he just can't get anything else out of it. And a shame indeed, because Goli tried to get an honest effort back on the track. Just doesn't work. Spins around for the second time, and heartbreak compounds for Gabriel Goli, as just was not the right move to immediately get back on the circuit. Luckily, the leaders are not affected, but Gabriel Goli might just see his night end in flames. Not taking his fast repairs so far, but one lap down, and he has to go down to pit road for at least 35 seconds. Just like that, it's going to be Chase Schaefer leading from Sean Conklin. Thurston fades back to fourth with John Smith rounding out the podium at 105 laps in on a 106. Schaefer leads him and has the 54 on his tail. Now making up that much more time, Sean Conklin inching slowly but surely into the leading battle all over again. You can see John Smith, who's in third, and River Page right now fighting side by side with the number 35 of Will Shack. Shack gets away from him, and right now Braxton Whitaker, 14 laps down, gets back on the track at the same time. While Alexander Balearis has chosen not to retire the car, number 95 is going to be 22 laps down, and looks like now going to be there on pit road, limping down there earlier, has just chosen to stay, but is not officially disconnected from the session. Just like that, 109 laps in at a 200 here at FTN. As always, brought to you by Tango Paints, iRacing's leading graphic designer and the official sim racing paint scheme partner of Fireball Talks NASCAR Live. For high quality paint schemes and liveries, no matter what you race on iRacing, check out Tango Paints' trusted sim racing quality graphics since 2021. Tango Paints on Twitter for your one-stop stop for all paint schemes on iRacing, as we bring you your second promotional break of the night, courtesy of our friends at Tango Paints on Twitter. Chase Schaefer going to lead the way this time by 113 laps in out of 200, back from our Tango Paint promotional break of the day. And right now getting ourselves to a much nicer rhythm to get the second half on the move. 13 laps of non-stop racing to start off this second run, and John Smith going to get wiggled once by Thurston. Now James goes way up top, finds that River Page, number 24, down low. Side by side, there will be neck and neck with Thurston. That's a shot, but just can't find it on the bottom. John Smith getting there, running in the third spot, but it might not be for any longer. Take a look as River goes way down low and puts himself in the third place, neck and neck once again. Liliana Gang's number 24 is right there on the podium, trying for something, but just can't get it for certain. It's going to be John Smith on the high side of River Page way down low as their leaders get even closer, but still nothing just yet, as Sean Conklin has not made that move and solidified himself as a contender for the race win. Conklin still there on the back bumper, right on board with Chase Schaefer for a lap to see how it is with all the pressure right behind. And you can hear right now Chase Schaefer going through, leading the way 118 laps in. And it's going to be the motor roaring each and every time around. Conklin going to be in second, River Page third, and John Smith then in fourth. James Thurston going to be fifth with Vincent Guecci sixth, and Daniel Mosteller then in seventh. Henry Kaloff eighth, and 119 laps in. They roll well up in the front of the field. 119 laps in for Chase Schaefer, and despite the fact he opted to get that end-of-line penalty early, it's worked out in the long sort of way to make himself a contender in the long run. And looking at that future perspective for Chase Schaefer, he opted to start the race a bit calmer, go to the back of the field. He saw some trouble early, but right now, as the going gets tough for other drivers, he's got track position. And here in the Last Great Colosseum, that track position, it is essential. So very fantastic run so far from Schaefer this season, and once again putting himself to the test and finding himself with some success. So far, so good. But Conklin, the winningest driver all season long, is still right there, and if Sean Conklin finds something, he will go for it. He's going to get the wall though that time by, finds the barrier but doesn't find anything else, and now River Page continues to creep up in the frame once again. And coming through this time by River Page, and number 24 is still lurking slowly but surely. 123 laps in, they all remain in contention. You'll see James Thurston there going to be fourth, John Smith fifth, Daniel Mosteller going to be sixth, and Henry Kaloff there going to be alone right behind Vincent Guecci. They're 7th and 8th right now as the field continues to spread itself out. Natural racing gives us a much longer run, and just like that, you'll see Conklin a wiggle down low as he got in trouble. Brandon Dugan's going to go around, and the number 55 brings out the caution. 125 laps in at a 200. Yellow flag will fall this time by. Let's find out just what happened, as an instant replay will show you all the trouble. And Brandon Dugan brings out the caution, this time by 126 laps in. You'll see Dugan go spinning in front of the leaders, and it looks like some contact might have led to that, as you'll see Braxton Whitaker get right up to him, goes up top, and Braxton gets loose, hooks his teammate right up, and just like that, Dugan's got no choice but to stay up top as the leaders come rushing by. Safety caution, and for good reason. Any further delay, and that could have taken all your leaders out of the running. Dugan does a great job of holding on up top. Very little damage, if any, for Brendan as he comes around this time by, and the number 55 is up top. Will Shack right there too, and Braxton Whitaker finds himself 15th, 13 laps down. 127 laps in. For a lot of these drivers, it's been a smooth sailing day, but some drivers are caught up at least 2 laps down. Whitaker 13 down, Ball Bears is 42 on pit road, and TJ Hanley opts to come down to pit road this time by after the most recent incident. TJ Hanley down and in, finds himself there in the 11th place. Brendan Maddox is 10th. Henry Kaloff is 9th. Vincent Guecci 8th. With Daniel Mosteller then in 7th. It's going to be a split up at the front of the field, but it looks like only a few drivers opt to risk it on track. The rest of the drivers say, no thank you. Now time to go down to pit road. And much like that, going to be another big run in terms of our strategy tonight. Pit road has become busy, but not often with so many big packs. Last time we saw a big one, Chase Schaefer got the edge. He opts to stay out this time by. Now time to see if Conklin or Thurston get it through this time by. It's going to be Conklin with the advantage. James Thurston not too far behind. Vincent Guecci then going to be following, and it looks like River Page comes out just a few seconds behind. Running through this time by, it's going to be your new race leader of Chase Schaefer with John Smith and Sean Conklin rounding out the podium here, as Smith gains big time as a result of not going down to pit road. Chase Schaefer maintains his advantage up in the front of the field, but tries to do it a bit different here, opting to stay out in front, running with a different group of drivers at the immediate front of the field. Might give him an edge in holding and maintaining that spot, as opposed to running with the juggernauts to clash up in front of the field all over again. The thought process for Chase Schaefer might include, of course, the drivers he's racing against right now for the lead compared to who he will be racing when it all comes down to those fine few laps, because he knows how tough the competition is when guys like Thurston get up there, when guys like River Page get up there, guys like Sean Conklin either. But if you have buffers in the middle, like guys like Oliver Quinney, Gabriel Doley, or John Smith, guys who are quick but might not give you a run that's very aggressive in the long term, that's when you really play it a bit safer and have that track position, as opposed to running on the new strategy that might take you to the end of the way a bit safer. Time to play that risk and reward battle as Conklin goes down low to follow Chase Schaefer. 130 laps in this time by. Schaefer leads him. It's John Smith second, James Thurston third, and Sean Conklin in the fourth position. Rounding out the top five, it is River Page. As the pace cars down low, this time through, it's time to let Chase Schaefer get back into his action. Leading the way, had a great battle so far, so good, but the number 99 has to still seal the deal, knowing what's on the table. Coming through this time by is going to be Schaefer up in front with the green flag flying, back on her way, yet again, led by the number 99. Dead even this time by. Sean Conklin goes way down low, has the advantage on the bottom side, and now Schaefer's got to run for his money. Number 99 machine gets wiggled up to the top, and Schaefer ends up way high. And shades of Sean Conklin last season, Thurston gets decked. James Thurston goes around, and the caution flies again as he gets it back going. But still, James Thurston going to be run up the track by River Page, and the number 4 machine wiggles all the way up to the top of the track, goes around spinning, and he's not happy about this one, already chasing down Page up in front. River gets away from that one. Not too bad in terms of his damage, but James Thurston cannot be happy as he slowly but surely reels back to the front of the field. James Thurston, River Page, they make contact, and we'll show you the instant replay. Before things got rough, you saw it was number 4 machine dropping down low to avoid Chase Schaefer, wiggles back up, and it looks like it's going to be that one wiggle that really makes River unsure of where James wanted to go. And that's going to cost him. River Page, James Thurston making contact, and the caution flies yet again 135 laps in. Ryco Performance number 54, Sean Conklin has led the way for a majority of the season, but not this race. However, has an advantage up in front right now and 135 laps in. We'll be right back after a brief Fireball Talks non-stop promotional break, and we'll return with all the action for a remainder of this night. Still got a ways to go here in Bristol, not done in the slightest, and we'll be back in just a few minutes time to bring you the rest of the coverage uninterrupted here from Bristol. We're going to Fireball Talks non-stop, and we'll be right back after these promotional messages.
This message is brought to you by the rebrand of Throttle Graphics and Designs. This publication may not be reposted without the authorized written consent of Throttle Graphics and Designs. NASCAR Camping World Ford F-150. NASCAR Xfinity Ford Mustang. NASCAR Cup Series Next-Gen Ford Mustang. Arca Menards. This has been the publication of the redesign and rebranding of Throttle Graphics and Designs. This message may not be reposted, republicated, or rebroadcasted without the authorized written consent of Throttle Graphics and Designs. Thank you, and thanks for your time.
And returning now, 137 laps in, it is the Ryco Performance number 54 at the head of the field here in Bristol. An FTN Bristol doubleheader. This is the first race of the night. It is the Last Great Colosseum 200 here from Bristol, Tennessee. Great to have you all watching live again on FTN. And for those tuning in for the first time tonight, I've been your host for tonight's broadcast, David Kreutz, commentating and producing. Been a thriller so far, a lot of great action, getting some longer runs to wrap off the day, and now under 60 laps to go. When we get back at it, it's going to be a very short dash to the finish, and undeniable, the rest of this race is going to be a fun one to watch, including our next race in about an hour's time that will also be at Bristol. Got a lot of great races coming up here on FTN, in particular the ones tonight, a doubleheader on Thursdays, a doubleheader on Saturdays, returning as the FTN SuperSpeedway Series after a hiatus returns once again for their second race of Season 2. It's going to be an exciting one. I'll tell you this much. Going to be one of the wackiest car combinations we could possibly put together. Going to hope for a good turnout because the drivers are still fighting for the $100 cash cup live on FTN. River Page going to be right there with Sean Conklin as they come through this time by the Ryko number 54 in first. Page going to be second. James Thurston third. And here we go again, led by the 54 of Ford Mustang. Conklin takes the green flag this time by. We're back on our way. Page not going to get much a good start, and the green flags out once more. Now with Sean Conklin up in front, you'll see some wiggling with Chase Schaefer dropping all the way down the back of the field. Schaefer drops to the apron and loses almost every spot he has. No caution to fly as a result, but you saw him wiggle once, wiggle twice, and losing it all. And just like that, Schaefer down to 12 as Sean Conklin runs away. River Page going to still be there in second after contact with James Thurston. Both of them are still inside the podium, and speaks volumes about the pace they both have despite troubles. They stay up in front at 141 laps in. Page is going to get it. This time by River Page gets wrecked, and contact is going to be made. Revenge, if it might have been intentional. River Page is going to feel the exact same trouble James Thurston got into. Caution is out, and the yellow flag flies as River Page and James Thurston make contact once again. Tempers flaring. River Page going to get spun, and the caution is out once more. Just like that, back under yellow here from Bristol. Looking back at it a minute or so before the wreck occurred, you'll see James Thurston now in the position River Page was in the most recent caution. They're going to be once again right with each other, side by side, and the 4 gets that quarter panel to the quarter panel and spins. James Thurston went last time. This time it's River taking a wild ride and going 360. Bad news for the Miata Gang Designs number 24. The caution will fly, and back on our way they'll be again in just a few minutes' time as Sean Conklin leads them 144 laps in. Tell you this much, it's going to be Thurston right now in second, Daniel Mosteller third, Vince Guecci fourth, and Henry Caloff fifth. As they get set to re-roll yet again, Thurston comes down to pit road and looks like by force with some damage. James Thurston down and in this time by from second, all the order. As James Thurston comes in this time by, your overall race summary will paint the picture of what the night's been. So far, a total of 9 cautions on the day and 144 laps, and despite the yellow flags, a relatively quick pace. 1 hour into our race session, we find ourselves nearly 75% of the distance in. So we've made some progress so far, but still a ways to go to really wrap up the night. 56 laps remaining, coming down now to 55. 44 caution laps, 13 lead changes. It's been an exciting race, that is no doubt. But here at FTN, we're going to see another one just like it. So setting the tone tonight, IORA is going to have Sean Conklin up in front, then Daniel Mosteller runner-up with Guecci third, Henry Caloff fourth, and John Smith in fifth. Oliver Quinney's now going to be sixth with Gabriel Doley seventh, and it's going to be Brandon Dugan eighth, Braxton Whitaker ninth, and with the exception now of Alexander Balderas, nobody else on the track is off the lead lap. Will Shack is going to be on the lead lap in 15th. Balderas is 59 laps down. Jesse Martinez is 66 laps down. So despite some early troubles for 2 drivers, the rest of the field remains on the track and keeps it green mostly. However, we have seen 44 caution laps coming through this time by. Yet again, it's going to be Conklin and Mosteller up in front. We got some time under yellow, so how's about we take ourselves for a virtual track walk around the Bristol Motor Speedway. Get our drone camera back into motion. Turn 2 is empty except for James Thurston, so let's catch up to the field as it go by this time around. First time you get to trip down to the virtual Bristol Motor Speedway on the surface, and the Last Great Colosseum, pretty quick to travel through at full speed, so we'll take it down and try to get a bit slower here. That's going to be a bit of trouble though, as you'll see the iRacing official pace car now 1 lap to green, set to roll him off once again. Drivers fly under our camera system. You'll see John Smith has us fly out of the way, and really not much more we can do. Bristol, so small, very finicky our camera system, so sometimes a bit of trouble scrolling through smoothly as we now get back on the way at a higher speed. The banking here at Bristol almost unlike any other track, and you'll see rolling through quick, and we don't have a fast drone camera here. Just goes to show how small the circuit is. Come up by yet again, the virtual stands are as packed as ever, and now time to pay attention once more to the field as they get set to rumble yet again. Green flag gonna fly this time through as the start-finish line gets busy. Here we go again. Conklin leads them around, and the field comes flying through 1 and 2. Sean Conklin's got the edge there with Daniel Mosteller not too far behind. You'll look at Vincent Guecci in third and Oliver Quinney also there in fourth. Ollie's going to find himself now just outside the podium, running well, but he's going to have Brandon Dugan pressuring him up top, and Dugan looking very good so far. In all honesty, might be his best race in his league existence. Of course, he's had himself running for several seasons now, running up front inside the top 5, started in 5th, runs in 4th, and Dugan right up there once again, 150 laps in, making a career run out of this one in Bristol, and might come home with a top 5 finish as a result. Sean Conklin leads with Mosteller in second. Third's going to be Guecci, and up in front of the field, 3 former winners had themselves up at the top of the pack. Sean Conklin coming through this time by continuing to extend his gap with championship rival Daniel Mosteller not too far behind. The best drivers in the business, they're up there, and they're fighting first and second. Right now, slowly but surely bunching out once again. Not a lot of major packs being formed by our race leaders tonight. It has been more of the mid-pack fighting each other that much closer. You see right now side by side between James Thurston and Oliver Quinney. Not to mention Brandon Maddox on debut also with the field, and Brendan making his very first race in IORA history for this number 30 team. It's not been often we see that number 30 race, but tonight Brendan gets to run that paint scheme, run the number, and represent what he's got in store as the team now making their very first race, rookie bumper and all, the stripes show, but overall a very solid performance in the 8th position out of 17 drivers who registered above the halfway marker. That's about as good as they can get for a rookie run given the competition up at the head of the field. Some substantially talented drivers up in front. In this field right now, we've got a total of 3 drivers within the 6,000 I rating range. Actually 4. James Thurston is a 6,882. Sean Conklin is a 75-75. And it is also River Page right there behind with a 5,994. Daniel Mosteller is a 6,189. So these are by no means slow drivers. They are by no means inexperienced. They have speed, and they will show it to you in an officials race if you get the chance to race with them. They are top split drivers, but some of these guys might not have as much experience. Some of these guys come out to race only about once a week, and the caution flies with Chase Schaefer having some trouble with Gabriel Goli. Yellow flags out once again. The instant replay will show you what just caused it, as it looks like Goli getting involved with Schaefer. Big time damage for the both of them. Looking back at Gabriel Goli right now, going to be fighting in the thick of it with Oliver Quinney, Braxton Whitaker as well. And you can see as Goli tries to get things going down low at 0-5 as she makes the lunge, tries to get it deep, and as they go side by side, it looks like something came under the 0-5 team, and it looks like, yeah, Oliver Quinney, contact there. Gabriel spins up top, and he's going to collect Chase Schaefer. He just didn't lay on the brakes, and that's the big problem. I think if he laid on those brakes and it decided to stay down low, there wouldn't be a caution. Maybe a caution, but Gabriel Goli's had some bad luck with yellows already tonight. I don't think they would have given that one to him, but there's no choice when Chase Schaefer gets caught up. Caution flies as you saw Schaefer up on the high side. Nothing more he could do, getting caught in the mix, and 160 laps in. The last few laps just ahead, and Daniel Mosteller leads the way with Vincent Guecci second, Sean Conklin third, and River Page them in fourth. We'll bring you back after a brief Fireball Talks non-stop promotional break. All the action going to be brought to you in the final 40 laps here in Bristol.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head to head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Coming back live on FTN, 162 laps in. Daniel Mosteller having himself a night up in front once again. It's been back and forth for the past 62 laps. In the second half of the race has been dominated by our championship rivals. Top two, Daniel Mosteller, Sean Conklin up in front. They've been doing great up in front so far. Finally getting the chance for both of them to really show their skills and keep it up there. 162 laps in. Josh Kenyon in chat, thank you for stopping by. Making it through in the most exciting portion of any race here at Bristol, the end. And we don't say that because we don't want, of course, this race to keep on going or we want it to end, but it is always this final section where really push comes to shove and the drivers really go all out. So maybe tonight we're going to see a bit more of that. As you'll see now, it's going to be Daniel Mosteller, Vincent Guecci, River Page, and the newfound driver of Brandon Maddox up in your top four, with then John Smith and Henry Kaloff not too far behind. Some familiar faces and some newcomers up in the mix this time by. We'll go green at lap 164 and get things going once again here from Bristol Motor Speedway. Demos leads them and we're back on our way. And look at that restart number 10 on the night. Daniel Mosteller leads that lap quite clearly. River Page there in second, Vincent Guecci third, Brandon Maddox going to be fourth, but you're going to see some close competition as Sean Conklin already set to make some moves right up top. Look on board round with Conklin as he lunges toward the number 30, lets off, there's no room there, he really went for that one, but you saw, it just can't make it so when there's no room on that high side. So the solution, go down low, and just like that, nobody up top any longer. Instead, Conklin's got fourth all to himself. Now time to chase down his rivals up in front because Daniel Mosteller's up there, and any more good races for Demos will really cost Conklin a shot at the championship. That great race for Demos at Chicago, getting it done in the Grant Park Grand Prix, and a horrible night for Conklin, including, of course, the wreck we saw, the final caution of the day, really setting him back on his championship tour. And even though he's been the runaway driver so many nights, a lot of those times, Demos is the man who finishes in second, either by circumstance or just by raw pace. So Daniel Mosteller is still holding his own weight and taking those punches, and right now he's looking to benefit big time. 169 laps in, looking very nice. So far so good as the night sky has come full on here in Bristol. Overall track conditions are still very fair. As it stands, 77 degrees Fahrenheit, a very fair temperature here in virtual Bristol, Tennessee, and the humidity very, very low, and the wind northbound at 2 miles an hour. A partly cloudy sky you don't see all too much of as it's already nighttime here in virtual Bristol. So overall, track conditions have been great for every driver, and they've all been able to make good use of the circuit. Oliver Quinney there with Vincent Guecci. They're going to be running just inside of the top five. Brendan Maddox going to be sixth. Henry Kaloff going to be seventh with Brandon Dugan eighth, and TJ Hanley then in ninth. Whitaker is going to round out the top 10 with John Smith there 11th, Will Shack 12th, and James Thurston 13th. It looks like James Thurston, unlike Demos, his former race rival up in front, he's fallen on some hard times and finds himself off with the lead lap. Bad news for Thurston, and surely a ways to go for him if he wants to get back up there. He'll need at least one caution, if not multiple, the way things have gone. And now the top two battle is the aforementioned championship rivals of Sean Conklin and Daniel Mosteller. Conklin goes way down low. Demos has to hold his equipment right up high. Takes that 87 Chevy to the top side. And it looks like now Conklin's got a shot to make it down to the bottom. Looks for it. He's got a shot to take it this lap by. And at the stripe, a minor advantage might just go to Sean Conklin. They'll touch once and make contact for the first time. Tempers might just flare here as Conklin gets the lead. Barely has it, and it's good enough enough to get right by. Sean Conklin's got the race lead now with 25 laps remaining. It's going to be Daniel Mosteller right there with that number 54. River Page is going to be there, third spot on the order, and Oliver Quinney catching up 2 and 4th as Demos fades back. He's on much older tires. We haven't not mentioned all night long. 48 lap stint for Demos, only 16 laps for Sean Conklin. So all of a sudden, tire wear is coming into the picture, and Demos finds some more trouble with Conklin up in front, continuing to gain more time. This time around, with 22 laps to go, we'll crank it up with iRacing's finest camera provider, TrackCams22.com, and with 22 to go, we'll crank it up exclusively on FTN. Coming around this time by with 15 laps remaining, Sean Conklin has kept himself up there with almost no trouble as he makes it up now to a minefield of lap machines. Final laps just ahead for Conklin, who's been oh so controlling all night long, and now he'll take it down low on Brendan Maddox, not to mention Will Shack and Henry Kalop as well. Now a 5-second edge on Demos. Demos is in second, Brandon Dugan is there in third, and River Page is in position number 4. 13 laps to go as Conklin finds himself once again up ahead, and Sean Conklin has just not been stopped all season long to this point. With a baker's dozen remaining, Sean Conklin continues to prove that he's been the ace of this series all throughout the campaign, winning just about every other week, and his consistency in getting back to victory lane, no matter the stakes, it has shown this would be, if he gets it done, his 4th win in 8 races. A 50% win rate could be maintained halfway through the campaign, and while Demos does not have himself up in front right now directly contending, it's still a great run for him if it all goes well at the very end. If he just makes it around for the 11 more laps and gets it done, that's a fantastic way to finish it off. I mean, still, runner-up to your championship rival, you've got to drop week out the way in Conklin's mind, so if he has any more bad runs, he'll benefit more so. Daniel Mosteller will just play consistent as opposed to going win heavy. It's a back-and-forth game, but wins are always better than being second, so that's playing it on the positive side of Demos' case, but I'm sure right now his best case scenario would just be up there winning the damn thing when it's all said and done. Conklin leads him around, this time by 193 laps in, make it 194 next time by, as you'll see a closer battle between Brendan Dugan and Daniel Mosteller, a career night for Dugan, and it keeps on coming. Now Brendan Dugan's fighting for the 2nd spot, and this will be his all-time best finish, and a fantastic night so far for Dugan, who finds himself now right behind the number 87. Brendan Dugan going to be in close contention for a top 3 finish. As it stands, he finds himself right there already inside the 3rd spot, looking for 4th this time by. It's going to be another driver, River Page, but nothing much else being seen as Dugan's going to be in the bottom. Demos there still running in the middle, and 6 laps to go this time by. Sean Conklin being towed around the track by lap drivers. Conklin, 5 laps remaining. This time by has the advantage. TJ Hanley's up top. Oliver Quinney is there too. And right now, very few drivers remain on that lead lap. I mean, Kaloff can be very far off. James Thurston is 1 lap down as it stands. Simply cannot hold on much further. Intervals are going to show you a few other informational pieces of the broadcast, but nothing else is going to be quite right. So it looks like some issues as the night comes down to the final laps. 4 laps to go. This time by, and Sean Conklin has the edge, continuing to gnaw down lap after lap with no trouble as Mosteller makes it by. He's now in 3rd. Dugan is in 2nd, and River Page finds himself firmly in 4th here with TJ Hanley and Oliver Quinney fighting for what's left on the table. It looks like right now Braxton Whitaker going to be with Vincent Guecci. They're also running each other down. The number 35 is in 7th. Whitaker looking for that spot, but still hasn't found it. But this time by, coming down to the white flag, it'll be Sean Conklin making it through for the final lap here in Bristol, taking it through 1 and 2 for what will be his 4th win of the season. The 50% win rate would be maintained as he takes it through turns 3 and 4. This time by, the checkered flag will fall in the Last Great Colosseum for Sean Conklin. Win number 4 in 8 races of competition. Brendan Dugan comes home with a career best 2nd place finish at the line. Dugan comes home on the podium with Daniel Mosteller continuing a hot streak. 3rd place, his 2nd consecutive podium. Conklin set to burn it down this time by, and to see from the start-finish line down to the bottom of the circuit as drivers continue to rush by, Sean Conklin now getting a chance to celebrate alone on the circuit. And with the motor blown for Sean Conklin, the number 54 comes home on top with the checkered flag in hand for the 4th time this season. Sean Conklin, a winner again, as we'll run through your official race results here from Bristol. Conklin going to win by 8 seconds over Brendan Dugan with a career-high 2nd place finish. Daniel Mosteller comes home 3rd, and River Page then in 4th, the final driver on the lead lap. Then from there, TJ Hanley is going to come home in 5th. 6th is going to be Oliver Quinney, and 7th will be Will Shack. 8th going to be occupied by Braxton Whitaker, with 9th being the Vincent Guecci machine, John Smith, final man on the top 10. Then from there, Brendan Maddox, your rookie driver, comes home in the 11th spot. It'll be Henry Kaloff in 12th. James Thurston then going to be in 13th. And Chase Schaefer comes home 14th from the pole position. Then from there, it's going to be Chase Schaefer, followed by Gabriel Goli in 15th. Alexander Valera 16th. And Jesse Martinez on debut going to be 17th and last. But the number 54 machine keeps the success going. And right now, not in any race interview room, so we'll get him in very, very soon. Conklin, we're looking for as your 1st place driver. It's Sean Conklin winning. Then going to be Brendan Dugan immediately thereafter. And 3rd place, Daniel Mosteller. So we'll all get him in the waiting rooms right now as we're already won. Of course, for the number 54, he's already won it, and we've already run all the race footage on the night. The number 3 will get it done, and Sean Conklin, your winner, comes through, checkered flag in hand, at the virtual Bristol Motor Speedway. And with the checkered flag out, still waiting on Sean Conklin this time by, so we'll run a brief iRacing promotional break if he doesn't come in. Looks like he just did. Now we've got your race-winning driver. Sean Conklin, this number 54 team has been on fire, and it once again comes home on top. It's your 4th win in 8 races, a 50% win rate. And tonight, Bristol didn't look like you had the speed early, but that second half you turned on and turned it up to only have 4 drivers in the lead lap come the final lap of the race.
Yeah, race didn't start very well. We got handicapped, arguably not rightfully so, but then we got wrecked, and then I accidentally took my fast spare, and we got wrecked again, and then we went in to go fix it. I'm still learning the track, and then around halfway we start picking it up, and when we were behind Chase there that run, I was barely pushing at all. Like, if that caution didn't come out, we were going to drive away either way. And then a caution came out, took tires. Chase didn't. And, I mean, I don't really know about that wreck between me and Chase, to be honest. It's just like, it was a combination of like me being on new tires, the thing just would not turn. And it was also a combination of like him also coming down in a overcorrect, but I don't know. You can blame it on a racing deal, I guess. And yeah, and then towards the end, we were leading. I was saving tires, but I still felt like someone was gonna pit, and I feel like someone was gonna get an advantage off of it. So I went into pit road. I originally thought that wasn't the right call, but then after we started tracking them down and pulled away, like, 9 seconds there at the end? Yeah, I mean, we were gone. And then then I had to run in with lap cars and then burnt the right front up. And we lost a little bit of time. It probably would have been a bigger gap, but yeah, I mean, good strategy call. We stayed out that first run, didn't waste a set of tires, and we had that extra set for the end.
And as you mentioned in your full race summary here, it looks like everything played out for another very solid finish. I mean, you're accustomed to winning. That's how it's been all season long. And once again, putting yourself back on top, and with a bit more pressure from Demos tonight directly, you put yourself back in the championship mix with a bigger gap to go through with the first half of the season out of the way. Up next on the tour from Bristol, we next moved to Michigan for the Miata Gang Designs 160. How do you feel up next hitting the big tracks with Michigan on the move?
Michigan is a track I do not have much experience at, but I'm sure we'll be fine there. And yeah, definitely good to get this win after last week. Internet going out twice in one race. Like, we were gone that race. We had that pretty much locked up, and then for whatever reason, I still do not know why today the internet went out, and it did it twice. But after that, it was completely fine, and it's never done that before. And of course, it does it on one of my best tracks. So that was unfortunate last week, but glad to get the win, boost us in points this week, and yeah, next week should be okay. Don't have much experience there, like I said, but we should be able to figure it out.
And looking to keep a successful tour going, Sean Conklin, the number 54, come through once again for the 4th win on the Ryco Performance campaign. Anything else you'd like to add after this victory?
No, that's it. Thank you guys for broadcasting, and that's about it.
And just like that, Sean Conklin gets it done for win number 4, getting it done the Last Great Colosseum here in Bristol. Thank you for your time.
Yep.
And with Sean Conklin all the way next up on the agenda, our second place driver, it's going to be Brendan Dugan, and he's going to have himself a night to remember, a career-high qualifying position and a career-high race finish. That number 55, fantastic throughout the day, and it looks like it pays off in dividends for a career-high run. Brendan Dugan, it's a night to remember, and perhaps your best performance here in the league in its entirety. Second place, challenging Daniel Mosteller and getting right by. How do you feel with a podium finish and a lot to look back on in a successful night at Bristol?
Well, I gotta say, I feel great. Been best finish ever in IORA history for me. Yeah, I knew I'd pace today. I got caught up in some wrecks earlier, but overall, it was a great race for me. I pulled it together at the end, and I'm very happy with the finish.
A very, very solid finish, as you mentioned, gaining a lot from the start of this race. Your fifth place qualifying run is still a huge deal for this team, but still getting that podium finish is that much more. So again, take us through the mindset, knowing how hard you've worked for this position, this opportunity, and making it happen.
Dude, I've just put in a ton of time. I practiced quite a bit before this race. I put in probably 200 laps of practice. I was on fresher tires towards the end than everybody else, but I feel like I had great pace today. And it feels great to finally get a good finish.
Finally coming through with a career high here in the late race battle. Strategy worked out well in your favor, so how was it making that strategy call that really solidified this great run?
I thought that would probably be the last caution we had for the day. I just had a feeling in my gut, and I thought, man, if Conklin's taking tires and he's the fastest, I should probably take tires too. And it worked out great in my favor.
And working it all very well tonight, Brandon Dugan, a lot of momentum going into Michigan next week. Do you think you can keep this Thursday night success up for another run?
I think we might be able to. I'm going to put in some hours on the sim. I'm going to try to get some good pace there at Michigan. I do struggle at 1.5s, but I think we can keep it up.
Hoping to keep the pace going with a career high finish. Brendan Dugan, second place on the day. Anything else you'd like to add after this one?
Nope, I think that's it. Thank you.
And there we have it. Brendan Dugan gets it done. A career high here in IORA, finishing second in the Bristol Motor Speedway. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
And with Brendan Dugan on the move, one more driver to speak to, your third place man in Daniel Mosteller, after a great run at Chicago, backing it up with another podium and coming through third place at long last here in Bristol. How do you feel?
I don't really know how to feel. I mean, I'm happy, I got another podium, but I felt like I could have had something for Conklin. On that last yellow, I did the opposite of him because I didn't really feel like I could beat him like straight up. He definitely had the upper hand on pace. And I was kind of banking on more yellows to end the race, but it going green the rest of the way really caught me off guard, and I ended up losing second to Dugan there at the end. He did a hell of a job. I've never seen him go that fast in my life, but he played the cards right. So did Conklin. It's good to salvage a P3. Points wise, I mean, it's not terrible. But I could have been a little better. But from starting dead last, got to look at the bright side sometimes.
And as we mentioned, you made it a bit harder starting there, dead last on the day. So big mover by force, and 14 laps led, gaining 14 spots. It all worked out in that same regard. But older tires, you had to muscle to the end. How was it with that challenge in mind?
It wasn't really that hard. I was able to manage them pretty well. I saw River behind me ripping the top, and I started ripping the top, giving him dirty air. It kind of hurt my tires towards the end of the run. Maybe if I ripped the top the whole run, I could have held off Dugan, but I felt like running the bottom and keeping them underneath me would have been better. I'll never know because you don't really get a second try at this. But yeah, I just needed a little more pace. But new tires were definitely the move. Conklin pulling 9 seconds on us at the end there. That's crazy for him passing me with like 25 to go.
And making major gains in the championship fight yourself. Conklin gets the win. You're still here on the podium, and it's a very close championship run going into Michigan next week. Another big track after a short track here. Anything you'd like to say, of course, in regards to Michigan? You think there's a bit more success on the line?
That's going to be a fun race. It's going to be more of a super speedway style race. I think it'll be it's going to be similar to Auto Club. And Auto Club is really fun, and I won there at Auto Club. There's some good guys in this league. I see Thurston. He's going to be a contender. Obviously, Conklin. He's been the star of the season, really. Fastest guy. There's other guys. Schaffer's really good. You never know. It's going to be fun in week's time.
And looking for a fun fight till the very end here, Daniel Mosteller, another very solid podium position as he comes through on top, third place in Bristol. Anything else you'd like to add after this one?
Thanks to Mason for adminning, off tracking, running the league, all the admins that help keep this in order. It's fun to be working with the group of people. You for broadcasting. Can't wait to watch back on the call. Everybody watching at home, and myself for the good run.
And just like that, Daniel Mosteller wraps off with a top 3 finish here in Bristol. 14 laps led with a huge gain from 17th on up. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
And just like that, with Daniel Mosteller on the move, the number 87 will get it done and come home with the checkered flag here in the Bristol Motor Speedway. It's going to be Mosteller, your third place driver, and Brendan Dugan in second, with Sean Conklin winning our first race here at Bristol. Tell you this much, we got another one coming right up, so keep that in mind. In about a half hour's time, the Highline Racing League will go live on FTN with their night at Bristol, 200 laps, all the same. We hope to have you watching live again on FTN, as we'll bring you back in just about a half hour's time. Stay on this page. We'll automatically redirect you to the Highline Racing League broadcast and have y'all watching as the FTN doubleheader at Bristol continues. I've been David Kreutz, commentating and producing all tonight's action, and we'd love to have you for tomorrow's event, which will not be on FTN. I believe I'll be working with McConey Entertainment, but we'll also love to have you finishing off the night here on the channel. We thank you all for your immense support tonight. We hope you have a great night. This has been our presentation of the IORA Cup Series and the Last Great Colosseum 200.